much for supporting our previous videos. In our previous episodes, we actually share with you how we actually build passive income as well as cash flow from all our properties. Today, I'd like to take a step back and go back to basic and address some of the questions that our viewers have with regards to my property investment journey. Now, just like many of the viewers here, I was also an employee, right? Being an employee is quite sian, right? From 9 to 5, I need to work. I have endless calls, I have endless emails to clear. And to be frank, because I was in sales line, even when I take leave officially, right, I still have to attend to calls and emails, even to in the middle of the night. And really a holiday is also considered as a work trip for us. So there's no true holiday for us as a salesperson per se. Right, so in the next few sections that we are going to go through, we are going to address some of the questions that the viewers have, and that is related to my personal journey as well as my investment journey. Okay, let's look at question 1. First question, what is the first property that I actually own? Now, my husband and I, we grew up from very humble family background, and we feel that HDB probably suits our needs more at that point in time because we just started off working, and both of us grew up in the West. We really treasure family support, so we actually bought a resale HDB flat in the West as well. It was about 20 over years old at that point in time when we bought the resale HDB. So why resale HDB? We chose resale HDB versus BTO. Number one is because of the spaciousness of the unit. We like units that are big and spacious and squarish. So that was one of the main consideration. And resale unit allow us to really check and scrutinize the environment and the surrounding, such as our neighbors, whether they are smoking, whether they are pets and things like that. So that is another option that we feel is a point of consideration for us as well. And of course, from a financial perspective, HDB is really meant to be to make housing affordable, especially for new couples who just started out and are trying to start up a new family. So I think HDB is really affordable for us. So that was then. And why didn't we choose BTO? Right? It was because no doubt for BTO, whether it's BTO or resale, there is a 5 years MOP, which is the minimum occupation period. However, for BTO, we have to wait another 3 years for it to be built under construction if let's say you are balloting for a new unit. So the entire total wait duration, if you get to a BTO, is actually 8 years versus 5 years. So that was why we chose to have a HDB versus a BTO at that point in time. And when we finally reached our MOP of 5 years for our resale unit, so what we did was we actually rented out our unit to tenants, and we started to collect passive income from there. Next question, do I own any residential properties other than HDB? The answer is yes. We actually own 2 residential properties that is other than HDB. So altogether, in fact, we have 3 residential properties. In fact, 5 years after our MOP with HDB, we actually bought our very first investment property, which is a condo at Bugis area. Now that condo is actually built under construction, and I think it took about 3 years for the entire project to be built up. So when we first paid the amount in 2015, that was about 400k. So there was actually no ROI or return on investment for us for this 400k while we are waiting for it to be built up, and it was only ready in 2019 where we started to rent out the unit. Now this unit that we bought for investment is actually a dual key. So it consists of a studio apartment as well as a 1 bedroom. So we actually rented both units out, and in fact what we did was we requested for the key earlier once it's completed, so that we can actually have the first right to really rent out and avoid the mass market rental to come in, because it will really bring down the value of the rent. Right, so that was our first investment property, which is a condo at Bugis. And then 2 years later, we decided, hey, we want to upgrade our lifestyle, so we actually bought a condominium in the West as well. Again, it's a resale condo, reason because the size is bigger, and we also want it to be close to our parents, so we actually got a condo in the west, and that is where we stay. And again, over there we spent on renovation, the down payment, and we also paid additional buyer stamp duty of 7% at that point in time. So in total, that is another about 400k cash. So in total, on these two residential properties, we actually already forked out 800k in cash. And so the $800,000 that we actually spent in cash is not working hard enough for us. There is not much of a return on investment based on the cash that we have actually invested in. Why? Because at that point in time, many years ago, we were so focused on acquiring the number of properties that we actually neglected the part on cash flow as well as passive income. Now, if we were to turn back the hands of time, there are some decisions that we thought that we may make a totally different decision altogether, right? And this is but it's okay, this is really part of the investment journey, which we hope that we can actually share with you as much as we can, so that you can avoid these mistakes that we have actually made. So the third question is, other than Singapore properties, do I invest in overseas project? The answer is yes. But really, it's not my decision, it's really my husband's decision, because we actually felt that, hey, how do we grow? How else do we grow? In Singapore, the residential properties, we have very high ABSD, which is the additional buyer stamp duty now. So how then can we grow and get me out of the rat race? So my husband came up with a brilliant idea to invest in overseas property. Now, which is really not my cup of tea, because my character is that I think number one, I'm a little bit more conservative. I prefer properties that I can see, I can hold, and I can go down at any point in time. So overseas property is not my take, because I cannot have an instant touch to it. And also for overseas property, the other thing is that we are not familiar with the government as well as the policies there, which makes it a little bit even more difficult to keep track of the development and things like that. And this overseas property, we actually invested in both of them. One is in Cambodia and one is in Thailand, and we have actually spent close to about 300k in investing in these two projects. And again, these two projects are built under construction, which also means that I do not get an instant return on investment. Right now it's still building in progress, so there is no return at all at this point in time, which has already been about 3 years. So will I go into overseas property? The answer is no, personally at my level. But of course, being the loving wife, I am very supportive to my husband at that point in time. I hope that the above questions have actually give you some insights. So we have a few more questions that's coming up in the next video. So stay tuned and continue to subscribe and like our Proptiply.